Hey, welcome to episode 41 of the Crystal Clarity Podcast. My name is Sarah Thomas, and today we're going to talk about death and dying. And if you are somebody who positions yourself as someone who helps or facilitates others in death and dying, this is a great episode for you. And if you are anyone who may confront or encounter death and dying in your own life, among the people or animals or trees, etc., that you love, this is a great episode about working with crystal healing to facilitate transition and to facilitate death and dying or unwinding out of the body or unwinding out of the physical form. And we're actually going to talk about diamonds today, which is awesome and magical. We're going to talk about how diamonds can assist you in facilitating the unwinding of the spirit from the body. And we call this in Chinese medicine the Po dimension. Po, the Po dimension is the dimension where we go when we are in the act of unwinding from the body or when we are in the act of winding into the body. It's kind of a transitional place where the spirit encounters the body and works into it or works out of it. And it's so interesting. Well, lately, first let me say that lately I feel like I've been hearing about a lot of folks dying or a lot of folks going into hospice. um yeah, people I know have died. People, it's like up right now. And I just said recently to a friend, I feel like we're in a big death portal right now. Like a lot of folks are leaving. It's just one of those humps. And maybe you're feeling that too. And I think that I wanted to share a little bit about how diamond and crystal healing can just facilitate you facilitating this so that if you see, if you're around someone dying or who may be dying soon, or even if you're not around them, but you want to send some facilitation or support through stones and minerals, this is a little bit about how you can do that, how you can help someone unwind from the body in the death process. Or even we're going to talk about if something has died, like if you see an animal dead on the side of the road, like a deer or a possum, and you have that feeling like that they might be unwinding from the body and in that Po dimension, like they're in the process of dying. And in some traditions, we're in the process of dying for 3 days. In some traditions, the spirit is unwinding from the body for 49 days. So it depends on how you view it and what your traditions say. But there is the possibility that the spirit is still fully unwinding from the body and out of the cellular memory for some time. So I want to talk today about how you can actually work with diamonds to facilitate that process. And, we're going to talk about placements of the diamonds, really simple placements of the diamonds. If you have real diamonds, or if you want to kind of call them in, we're going to talk a little bit about stone soul medicine, which is like plant spirit medicine. It's working with animism and shamanism to kind of call in the diamond, even if you don't have one physically present. And so we'll also talk about why diamonds work. What does a diamond have to do with death or unwinding from the body? So, welcome to episode 41. So, check this out. Oh, by the way, I'm going to give you some notes on this episode just because I'm going to be going through a few things, and particularly about a couple of placements. And for those of you that aren't crystal clear on what I'm saying, I felt like it would be nice if you could download just a few notes. They're very simple notes on this episode. So do that by going to the description and you can click on the download. You can click on the button that takes you to the page that will give you the notes. Okay, so I'm going to upload some notes with this. So okay, diamond itself. I have a diamond sitting right here. Let's see if we can get a close up of it. Yes. Oh my gosh, look at this beautiful being. Look at this cool diamond. So if you're listening, I'm just showing this beautiful, clear white diamond inside of a gold ring. And I got this at an estate seller at the Tucson Gem Show. And he goes around and collects jewelry of those who death and die. And then I got this diamond as a piece to work with just because it's such a nice clear big diamond in such a simple setting. So, diamond seems like a really impractical stone to work with because it's quite expensive. And, you might have it. For some people, it might be the most practical stone they could work with because they have one right on their finger. I mean, we give diamonds to each other in engagement rings and often in earrings or nose rings. So it's interesting that it could be very impractical for some of you to have a diamond, but it could be the most practical, accessible stone that you wear every day for some of you to have a diamond. So this can be in a setting. I'm going to take this one out of the setting so I can work with it without the gold on it. But it's totally fine to work with one in the setting. You still have the diamond and you're intentioning to work with the diamond. So diamonds are an extraordinary stone. They're absolutely extraordinary. They hold such an extraordinary place because they are the hardest stone that we have, the hardest. And among all materials on earth, they are the hardest natural material on earth. And that's absolutely extraordinary. That's something to pay attention to as a crystal healer. That's something definitely to pay attention to as a stone medicine person. Having a diamond is like having a magical medallion. It's very important and can do a lot for you. What is hardness? We have this Mohs scale of hardness where things can be anything from a 0 to a 10, and 10 is the hardest, and only diamonds occupy this level 10 hardness. They are harder than all other stones. So you cannot scratch a diamond with another stone. You cannot penetrate a diamond with another stone. We have to make diamond saws to cut other stones like hard sapphires or hard rubies or other hard materials. So diamonds are the hardest stone that we have. And this is what this is about, why this stone is so hard. As you know, it's just carbon. And carbon is an awesome element. It is one of the biggest shapeshifters on the periodic table. Absolutely incredible element. Can become so many things, right? Carbon can be the lead in your pencil, and it become all of these other forms, all the way up to the diamond in your diamond ring. So it could be graphite in a pencil. Carbon shape shifts because the atomic structure can change so much in carbon. And in a diamond, it's so hard because there's this 3D grid of covalent bonds inside of the diamond. And covalent bonds are the hardest bonds that we have. They can't just slide past each other in that atomic structure. They're all bonded and sharing electrons in this tetrahedral grid, which is like all of these little triangles. So it's this 3D grid or network of tetrahedrons. All of the carbon atoms are connected at 4 different places with these perfect, strong covalent bonds. That makes for just a very extraordinarily hard mineral. We cannot penetrate that. And that's what I really want you to hear this episode is this word penetrate. We cannot penetrate this diamond. We cannot scratch it. There's nothing harder than it. So it's so integrated internally. It's so coherent and so integrated. Everything is in this perfect lattice, sharing in these strong bonds. So this level of integration it creates a very high refined energy, right? It's a high vibrational energy. And of course, there's coherence because it's a crystal, and everything is in this coherence because it's in this perfect periodic arrangement. So we have something so hard, right? And in Chinese medicine, in the Taoist perspective, when you have something so hard like this is yang. Yang is hard, it penetrates, right? Yang penetrates, yin receives. So this is the most penetrating mineral. It is the most yang. It's like a force that can break through anything. This is a force that can break through anything. And when we have this really high yang energy inside a stone, it's like it's a very clear energy. Yang or masculine energy is very clear when it is set up right. We have this, it's connected to heaven. So yang energy is more connected to heaven, and yin energy is more connected to earth. So that's just the relativity between earth and heaven, between these two energetics, these two dual energetics. So yang energy, this is very yang and it's very penetrating, and this is connected to heaven, and this is connected to clarity. So heaven is very yang, it's very refined, it's very clear. Imagine just soaring through the clear air, like someone shot you like an arrow and you're just soaring through the clear air. Like that clarity that is also very yang, that can penetrate anything, right? That clarity is like, it's clarity is when, clarity is very much embodied by the plant kingdom, because when the plant kingdom, it has so much clarity because it's just looking towards one thing, the sun. It's moving towards the sun. You see all of these trees and vines and plants with one focus in mind, which is to get to the sun. So, this one focus to get to the sun, just moving towards the sun, that's clarity. There's this essential knowing inside clarity. That essential knowing is also connected to masculine energy, just clear, penetrating knowing. And that strong vector, we see it associated with plants. We see this strong vector associated with diamond as well. Now, diamond is also really associated with clarity in that we value diamonds by their clarity. And I'm going to show you this quartz crystal actually. So I'm going to get this to zoom in here. Look at the clarity of this quartz crystal. I'm showing you this because it's easier to see than the cut on the diamond, but see the absolute clarity of this quartz crystal. That's heaven. That's refinement. That clarity is, it's the purity of heaven. So that purity, that clarity, that refinement, that's very much associated as well with moving out of the body and moving into higher states, higher refined states, like moving into heaven, right? So the spirit is going to be moving out of the material body into this clear, pure clarity is purity, right? This refined, higher vibrational energy. And y'all can see there are diamond light body activations. And that's not necessarily what I'm talking about today, but I'm very happy for you to draw parallels between what I'm talking about today and that, if you're familiar with that. Diamond light body activations are, they this is something that's been channeled, it's been something that's picked up. There's different views and perspectives on this, but it originally, one of the original, stewards of this phenomenon are the Buddhists, and the Buddhist culture talk about this high diamond light energy being connected to one of our light bodies. And as this high diamond light energy penetrates, fills our light body or touches us, or we can become activated with it, it ignites something inside of our DNA. And inside of our DNA, there's this connection with heaven and our highest spiritual self, an awakening of consciousness that is in the DNA, right? That can be awakened through the activation of the diamond light body. So it's like we have this potential in our DNA. The DNA is parallel with the stone and crystal kingdom. But in a diamond light body activation, we bring in this very high light that is this crystalline diamond light that is connected to us to awaken or activate the DNA within us that is spiritually awakened. And diamond light body, it is said that when it is activated, it's impenetrable, it's unchangeable. Like it is the state that cannot be changed. It's the state that cannot be lost. It's an enlightenment that cannot be lost or broken. You can't penetrate it. Like that's like the hardest crystal too. You can't penetrate it. It's a toothpaste that once you squeeze it out of the tube, it can't go back in the tube. That's what consciousness is like. It's like it only expands. Consciousness only expands and evolves. It doesn't go back. That's why once you see something, you can't unsee it. So you can see this parallel between diamond light body and what I'm talking about here, this connection of working with diamond to unwind from the body. Now, that's just a little bit about why the clarity, the hardness, the impenetrable nature of diamond, the high refined energy, and also one more thing, guys, the high rate of dispersion. There's a very high rate of dispersion in a diamond, which means it's extra sparkly. And when light goes in, it refracts in this rainbow. And actually, you might not be able to see this if I show you this, but I'm putting the diamond back in the camera again. When light hits this the right way, it just shoots off all of these rainbows. Like all of the sparkles are these little rainbows. And the activation of rainbows, this sparkling rainbows, light hits this and it gives it back to you as rainbows. The rainbow, it represents heaven as well. It's all possibilities. It's all seven colors. It's all possibilities. And what is heaven? It's just a place of greater possibility. It's a place where, we come out of this confined perspective and understanding and enter a place of greater possibility and greater perspective. So it's that expansion. So let's talk about unwinding from the body with diamond. Here is what I want to offer if you are with somebody who may be um, moving into transition. The process is just to place diamond on, this is my opinion and just what I am guided to do, and I will explain it a little bit, but the process is to put diamond on Ren 12, or sometimes we call it CV12, which is essentially the solar plexus chakra. So you would place the diamonds on CV12, which is essentially the solar plexus, and then you would also place another one at Ren 17 or CV17, which is essentially the heart chakra. So I am working with the solar plexus and the heart chakra. So for now, just imagine that you have two diamonds, and we'll get to how to get around if you don't in a moment. But you would place these two crystals on the solar plexus chakra and the heart chakra, Ren 12 and Ren 17. And what this does is it brings this light through the body and helps the spirit be pushed out of the body with that impenetrable, hard, high light energy. And it's like moving this force of light to help the spirit unwind from the body in these two places. Now, you might be thinking, why wouldn't I put it at the crown chakra, or why wouldn't I put it at the third eye? And those are great questions. And you might end up feeling like, oh, I actually like a diamond at the crown chakra in this moment, if you're able to feel the spirit moving towards transition. So this is just how I was guided to do it. It was something shown to me by the stones. And if I have to go back and put logic to it, it makes sense to me because we are leaving the crown and the upper centers open, and we're like using the force of the light and the hard, impenetrable crystalline light at the lower, at the mid part of the body to unwind from the solar plexus, the I am, the identification with the self, and then opening the heart, the portal of the heart to move the spirit out. It's like getting it from the middle up and leaving these open, these upper centers open for the spirit just to be able to glide through these upper centers. Can I tell you something crazy about this too? It's actually not that crazy, but what is happening here? Like the placement of the stones is, it's going to work in different ways for you. Like there's not really a right and wrong answer about this. One of the reasons why this is working, honestly, this is the main reason why this is helping a spirit lift out of the body, is because diamonds amplify prayer. Diamonds amplify prayer. They are great amplifiers. So it's really the prayer and the intention that I'm holding just to open up this pathway, help the spirit unwind from the body itself, the material body. And the diamonds act like megaphones for prayer. They are powerful amplifiers, okay? And part of that is because of that hardness, that penetrating energy, that rate of dispersion, that like everything about what this stone is made up of, those covalent bonds, they make diamond, it's a strong stone, right? So that can create amplification. And when I work with a diamond with prayer, and this is the most important thing I'll say in this episode, honestly, it just comes down to this and it's simple. It's like using a megaphone for your prayer. It's just greatly amplifying your prayer. And I believe too that the stones have me double up with two placements because that's also amplifying. When you have two placements, it's like having two speakers, right? It's going to be extra amplifying to double that up. So, when the diamond comes in pairs and shows that, I also see that as an amplification. So please remember, diamond is an amplification of your prayer. So when you're saying it, it's coming through a megaphone, and it's just making it even stronger, right? The strongest, the impenetrable, unbreakable quality behind the prayer will come through. So it's a great amplifier. Now, um, there are a couple other stones that we work with in the death and dying process. And when I say we work with it, it's just you all always go with your own direct revelation and what you're sensing and feeling. Absolutely. Like when you get these calls from the stones and from spirits that you work with, you've got to follow that. That's more important than any other outer voice. When I say we work with, I mean the students at Upper Clarity in our school, we kind of gather things together from ancient texts and study over these things and have a lot of synchronicities and overlaps, and we start finding like the guidance and the way together through these stones, definitely standing on the shoulders of giants too, those who have taught us. But we also find that apophyllite is a great stone at the crown chakra to you know open that portal for the soul to move through. It's like a portal opening stone, amazing at the crown chakra or above it at the eighth chakra. And then we also work a lot with carnelian to open the portal for the dying to move towards death. It really opens the portal to the light to move towards death. And that has been used for a long time, actually. And that is a heart placement. That would be the same placement as we're talking about the diamond at the heart at Ren 17. All of these crystal energies help the spirit move on, just to unwind and move through that po dimension. Now, if you don't have diamonds, this is fine because it really depends on, your level of being able to work with a stone when you don't have it depends on your faith and your belief and your perspectives, and often too your level of consciousness. Because the higher we go up in consciousness, the more we see that everything is alive. And when we're in high states of consciousness, we don't know or understand that everything is alive. We see and experience that everything is alive. So, in those moments of higher consciousness, we start to adopt this animist perspective that everything's living and breathing, that everything has a spirit, that everything feeds. And in that place, we realize that we can call in stones. We have these unique, specific relationships with them. And in this moment, please just think about, what are your true, real relationships with stones? Like when they come to you, what does it feel like? And when have they come? And forget the whole outer world of what it's supposed to look like or feel like. Just let that all fall away and see if you can focus on just kind of be like, what is actually real for me? Have stones come to me. When they do come, what feels like it's behind it? When does it come? Does it come in dreams or meditations or through synchronicities? Or when have I had these experiences with stones where I feel like they're truly alive, or a spiritual guide or a spiritual ally helping me? And the more that you are in that place, the more easily you'll be able to just call in the stone. And all you do is just bring it in. Bring it in with your heart. Just think of it as imagination. Bring it in with imagination, because also at higher states, we see that imagination is real, and that imagination is really creating reality. Imagination is creating the world, especially on earth, especially working with stone medicine and crystals and the elements of the earth and nature, because that's the way that the earth goddess creates. So you can call in the diamond and just see it. You can see diamond light at Ren 12. You can see diamond light at the heart center and hold that. And that will just help them transition. It'll help them move out of the body. So you can call the stones in. You can call them in as allies. You can hold the visualization of diamond or diamond light at the solar plexus and the and the heart chakra. And when I call stones into, I'm slipping into like a little bit of a tiny bit of a distance healing conversation here, which maybe I'll pick that up in the next episode or something. But when I call in a stone, as soon as I hold it and bring it in and simply hold the visualization of the consciousness of the stone or the light of the stone or the stone itself in a body or the oversoul of the stone, at that point, I just drop into witness state. I don't force it to do anything. I just drop into witness state. And if you can just hold the visualization and be in witness state, you'll see that the stones actually start to work and unfold and do their own thing. So that is us being shamans, that's us being woo. And trust yourself, trust the stones. So the last thing I want to say is some of you may be like me that you are feel this hard feeling when you go past roadkill, or something that has died, like a deer on the side of the road or a possum, and especially if it's fresh roadkill, it's like there is the possibility that this soul or spirit is trying to unwind from the body or in the process of unwinding from the body. And one of my teachers who I absolutely love, what her, instead of just driving past and feeling like, oh, she would drive past and do something, which she would overlay a golden flower of life onto the body with her visualization. And I did that. I love doing that because it's offering something. And you see this gold flower of life overlay. And in that, it's almost like a blessing. It's like you're blessing it with the light of heaven and the light of higher worlds so that it can find that. I have found that I also really love to put diamond light into the roadkill. And I know you're going to just see it for a minute or two, or a second or two if you're just driving by. But if you see a very bright diamond light, almost like activating its, diamond light body with just a moment of visualization, if you see a bright diamond light, something feels like it just pushes that spirit out from the material body and helps it unwind. That is the yang clarity of diamond. That is the diamond's connection to higher, more refined, pure worlds and worlds of greater possibility. And I think that there is so much to be said about the that integration inside the diamond of all of those covalent bonds, all of those carbon atoms connected in 4 different places in those tetrahedral, small pyramid arrangement throughout that perfect lattice. That level of coherence just invites. This is a secret about stones, right? They're always anchoring light energy. They're anchoring some kind of immaterial energy. That's their promise and their power. Something about that deep coherence and deep integration invites a very high refined energy and kind of opens the doors to heaven and beyond. And lastly, guys, I will say that be mindful of leaving stones and crystals at places where people have died, or leaving monuments or altars at places where people have died, or like this, this animal died here, so I'm going to leave a stone, or this person died here, so I'm going to leave like a stone circle. People leave the roadside crosses, etc., if somebody died in a car accident. But just be mindful of leaving things at places where people have passed on, because especially stones, right? They anchor energy. And if you put a stone without being conscious of what you're doing, and you just kind of place a stone there, right? Stones materialize immaterial energy, right? So they can anchor that energy there, and you want that energy to be able to move on. You want that energy to be able to move on, not be anchored there by the stone. And it's a paradox because stones materialize immaterial energy, right? They materialize immaterial energy so they can anchor this energy, but they also dematerialize material energy. See how they're working that portal? They work the gate, they're the doorkeepers. So it's like they can help the spirit unwind from the body, but they can also keep an immaterial energy in place. So I just I just wanted to share, like if there's a place where someone died or you're honoring someone's death by placing a stone, you want to have a clear intention that that stone is not just anchoring or holding that energy there. We want these beings to be able to move on and unwind and move through the Po dimension and make it all the way through. So be mindful of kind of like the monuments that you make and the sacred stone circles that you make. And if you do want to make something in a place of death or for someone, or crystals around a picture of them or something, be very clear to speak with the crystals about, just opening the portal, moving the energy on, releasing the energy, helping the energy, dematerialize, not materialize. Okay. With so much love, download the notes, you guys. I hope that helps you. It's a lot of words for something actually very simple, bringing in diamond energy and diamond light into those who are transitioning. All right. Thanks for listening, and, blessings on all of those who are transitioning, and blessings on all of your facilitation and help for those who are moving into those worlds of greater possibility now. And I'll see you in the next episode.